What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In particular, welcome to PCP Movie Night. It's the night of the week, every Monday night, where we gather together and talk about our movie of the week. We all go watch the movie and we gather here and talk about it. Me and the panel and you as well. So station, pop, pop, boom, everybody. Tonight we are ending Crew's Choice, which has been a long road. Like, no lie. Crew's Choice. 2 full months this year, 8 shows, all Tom Cruise movies. I think I may have bitten off more than I can chew. That was hubris speaking. However, we have made it through, and it's actually been a really great experience for me personally to deal with Crew's Choice and watch all these Tom Cruise movies and kind of recontextualize in my head my opinion of Tom Cruise as an actor, as a producer, as a performer, and tonight, we're ending with a bang. It is Mike the Voice Matthews' pick. He may be able to show up at some point tonight, maybe not. This is also the first Crew's Choice we've ever had where the people who have picked the movies don't necessarily show up for the reviews. So we'll correct that in 2025. But we're talking about Michael Mann's Collateral, starring Jamie Foxx, Tom Cruise, Jada Pinkett, sometimes Smith. It's Mark Ruffalo is in this film in a role that I think a lot of people don't remember him in. And like, for me, when Mark Ruffalo popped up in this movie, I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was not expecting that. But I really love Michael Mann. It's kind of been a thread throughout Crew's Choice somehow since Risky Business to be talking about Michael Mann. So what a movie to end it with. Collateral. I'm super stoked because we got a couple first timers here, including Brooks. First time watching Collateral, man.
Yeah, but I never heard of this movie, but what an appropriate way to end Crew's Choice with Tom Cruise's corpse stuck on a train, just going around in circles.
He's like fucking Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins at the end of this film, man. Speaking of Ra's al Ghul, if any of us is the Ra's al Ghul of the show, I guess. Oh, let's just fuck it. Just bring in Spillio. John, what is up, my man? How you doing? I don't know where I was going with that Ra's al Ghul thing, man. So
he kind of has the beard.
I sort of knew where, and I didn't know at the same time. So I'm glad. But yeah, I'm like Brooks, man. I'm a Tom Cruise fan, but I never heard of this, and I never saw it before. So this would be the first time.
All right. Fuck yeah. Not the first time for our other panelist, Verno from Blood Splatter Chatter.
What up, my brothers? I want to echo what you're saying, dude. The Crew's Choice has been magnificent. I haven't watched all of them with you, but I'm kind of the same, where it has opened up. It's made me reevaluate Tom Cruise as an actor and as an icon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, there's a lot of good movies that we've talked about. To be honest, the only dud in the bunch was Days of Thunder, and that's my bad, y'all. I thought we were all going to pick weird-ass, dumb movies, you know what I'm saying? But we all actually picked, like, really cool, gnarly movies, and I should have went with my initial pick, Vanilla Sky, but I'm glad I rewatched Days of Thunder, but I don't think Brooks is.
You take or leave that one.
All right, let's get into this. Oh, I don't have my Blu-ray with me. So I have the Blu-ray of Collateral. I just recently got it because I thought I owned it. And when I went to go get it, I was like, what the fuck? I don't have Collateral anymore? Like, what happened in my life where I don't have Collateral? And I think it was one of those ones from my DVD collection I never upgraded, right? But what a perfect chance to, right? And there's a Michael Mann commentary on there. There's like a 40-minute making of. So it's really, really cool. But the first Michael Mann film that I remember watching, knowing it was a Michael Mann film, was The Insider. And The Insider's got Russell Crowe, and it's got Al Pacino in it, and Christopher Plummer, and it's about the whistleblower on the tobacco industry back in the day, right? It's like that story. So let's think about this. That's a boring premise. It's about the dangers of this dude being the whistleblower to the tobacco industry, right? But Michael Mann actually crafted a long, stylistic, and very fast-moving and riveting and engaging film with that, right? That's when I started paying attention to him, right? And then understanding in hindsight, oh, he's the dude who did The Keep, which he doesn't think is the best movie, but I think The Keep's got a lot of promise there. And that's an awesome 80s horror movie, Verno, if you haven't seen the Geek.
Yeah, no, yeah. I have not.
Yeah. You should do that one. And but then Heat, knowing that Heat was him, and Heat is probably, in most people's opinion, his best film, right? But I love Collateral. I remember when it first came out, this is right before Tom Cruise did that couch jumping shit on Oprah, right? This is like right before that happened. And so nobody was like really against Tom Cruise at this moment. And at the moment that this movie popped, I remember it being like Oscar bait. I remember people talking about it as critically successful. I think it was commercially successful to a point. Let's see, a budget of 65 million. It made 220 in 2004. Yeah, that's pretty freaking good for this movie, right? Jamie Foxx was in the process of making not Ali, but he's in Ali, but Ray, right? Where he like wins the Academy Award. We're talking about the peak of these dudes, and this is Cruise choice. So we're talking about Tom Cruise. And I think out of all these movies, and I know we were super high on his performance in Interview with the Vampire, I think this is his best performance in a movie I have seen starring Tom Cruise. I love this film. I think it is so tight, so stylized, so profound in its themes and its messaging, and just how it's so character driven. But even for something that is technically just a drama where most of it takes place inside of a cab, this movie feels like it's full throttle the entire time and never slows down for me. And I love how this movie is it's about the characters, right? And it's never going on the nose or over the top with trying to explain to you why people are making the decisions they're making and why we're seeing certain events the way we're seeing it. And there's a lot of trust in the audience to be able to put some of this stuff together for me. So if Joe Corallo was here, he would say, hopefully about this film, but other films, he said this, it's not a movie that treats the audience like they're complete fucking idiots. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bang you over the head, but it does it just enough to keep it Hollywood. Because there is the island on the fucking visor, and when Tom Cruise blatantly just talks about his like past, but they're little bits that add information to all the other bits of nuance throughout the movie. So I guess I'm just saying I'm not gonna love this movie. Brooks, your first time watching Collateral, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, I actually like this movie a lot more than I thought, because it's the title. I don't like the title. Collateral. It just like makes me think like business nerd shit. My brain just like rejects it. So I'm like, movie can't be that good as Collateral. But I actually did like it a lot. And I don't think Tom Cruise's performance in this is better than Lestat, but it's pretty close. I'd say it's a close second. And yeah, I really did like this movie like a lot after watching it for several reasons.
You know, I get what you're saying about his performance, but there's like a subtlety to his performance in this one, right? Like Michael Mann, I have learned, is incredibly. It's not as fun of a character, Vincent, right? But for instance, Michael Mann's into this thing, so he sent Jada Pinkett Smith to hang out with a lawyer or a district attorney for like days. He sent Jamie Foxx to go hang out with cabbies, right? And Tom Cruise went and learned how to like draw a gun super quick and shoot with precision, and you can see it. His Vincent to me is one of the absolute scariest performances. Like, I believe that dude will stone cold kill you no matter the fuck what, dude. And I do think that that's an element that's maybe a little bit more, it's not obvious because he's not like hamming it up like he did Lestat. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, he hammed it up a little bit, but
yeah. But my theory in this movie is that, it's like Dead Man. Like, they've been dead the whole time, and the whole quest to rescue the lawyer lady is like his redemption, so he can like get away from the underworld. And Vincent is like the Reaper, always on his tail.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. You should have saved that for when we talk about what the movie means, man. That's some.
I'm gonna use it. He already used it. I'm using it later.
John, my homie, my boyfriend, John, what did you think about Collateral? Your first time watching, man.
First time.
You didn't even know what movie we were doing this morning.
Nope. So it was a nice surprise because I've heard about it recently from my boss, but I didn't even know. I didn't put two and two together that it was Collateral and this was Collateral. Like I said, when I watched it and see all the stars that are in this, even Jason Statham for like 5 seconds,
Yeah.
you know, I and when the movie ended, I was like, that was excellent. That gave me a nice ride, the ups and downs and learning between the two people, Max and Vincent. I really, really enjoyed it, and it's gonna make me go watch more uh, Man's movies.
Hell yeah. You know what? You know what the old James Brown said? He said it's a man's world. We just didn't know he was talking about Michael Mann, and it was a prophecy. All right. Straight from the Corona commercial with what's his name? Pedro Pascal, right?
Hey.
That's the new ones, right? What did you think? What do you think about Collateral? What did you think on the revisit, bro?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually watched this one with my wife, and this is the one, like we were kind of talking backstage. When first off, Manhunter, right? It's Manhunter, right? Not Mindhunter.
Yeah, Manhunter.
You introduced me to that. I did that on a whim on your show and fucking loved it. And that was the first movie that I'd ever seen where I knew this was a Michael Mann movie. Like, it just fucking blew me away how like artistic I found it. I love the way it was shot. It's such a fucking dope movie. The music, everything. And I remembered this movie fondly. I was like, oh, that was a badass movie. This was, like you were saying, this was a very different movie for Tom Cruise. And it was like, holy shit, what is Jamie Foxx doing? And it was like the beginning of Jamie Foxx being the Jamie Foxx that he is. So I went into it fucking way up here. I enjoyed it a lot, but I was a teeny tiny bit let down. Like I was expecting a 5, and I'll just say I didn't quite get there. There's parts of the story I'm not as into as other parts. And I'll save that for the structure element of it. Anytime Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise are on screen, it's awesome. Obviously, there's awesome suspense moments and there's a bunch of badass moments, but I did leave feeling a tiny bit underwhelmed. And I did feel like a little bit, they did tell us too much. Like when he gets on the train at the end, even my wife said it right afterwards. She's like, it would have been cool if he didn't say that fucking line. If it would have been like maybe the second time you watch, you're like, oh, that fucker's still on the train going around town and just things like that. So there was a little criticism on the movie, but for the most part, it's a badass film. And I think I did get myself too hyped up. Like I thought it was going to be more. I think it felt a little bit more commercial than I was expecting because of how artistic I feel Manhunter is. It's a Tom Cruise movie. I get that it's a bigger thing than Manhunter, but I was thinking it was going to be more artsy for whatever reason.
What's crazy to me is that one of the reasons why I love Michael Mann is because he makes movies like commercial movies that are artsy. Like I have like the inverse reaction, right? Where I'm like, I can't believe he's getting this artsy with the music and the cinematography and the style of it with a movie that made over $200 million in 2004.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it doesn't look good. It's not like it's like a sloppy, not well shot. I mean, it is. I get that it is. I don't know. I remember in Manhunter, I loved like there was all these still shots where the camera would just remain still on a scene. I loved the composition of his scenes. And in this one, I guess I'm getting into style, but it's done differently. And I was like, oh, okay. And mind you, I've never seen Heat. Heat and New Jack City are the two movies that me and my buddy would rent every fucking weekend with the 6 movies for $6 and never watched. I've never seen it.
At the bottom of the pile, you never get to.
I never got. I think I looked at the runtime, and I've just for whatever reason never seen the movie. I own it on digital too, and I've still never seen it. But
oh well, we got to do it very soon here on the channel for sure.
Hell yeah,
because it keeps coming up that we haven't done Heat, and Heat is amazing. Like I love that movie. All right, this movie has a small cast, but a very well performed cast, in my opinion. A well-performed cast. That's not how I should say that. However, Brooks, why don't you kick us off? What's a performance you want to highlight in this film?
Well, I'll jump on the grade. I'm going to take Jada in this one because I think this is like the most likable I've seen her in a movie. To be honest. She's very genuine in this role.
My wife right away
said,
to,
like,
who's this lady? She's so sweet.
Or like, yeah, she feels like an actual genuine person in this movie. Like I love her, like her chemistry with Jamie Foxx. You know, when they're taking the cab ride. Like I love the fact that she just happened to give this random guy her number was basically saved her life in the end. So yeah, I think a really good job. You know, she's not always the best in some movies, but I think she did really good in this one.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to hate, but I agree with you 100%. She is like super likable in this movie, which is odd for her because she's played characters in other films I really like Set It Off. I love Set It Off, right? And that's a movie I haven't seen in over 20 years, so we should definitely do that sometime, right? And she's in some movies that are okay, but like even in Scream 2, you're just like waiting for her to die. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just like, please, please, just kill her.
She's always playing this like streetwise, kind of tough character. You know, like even the Matrix was kind of like that, where she's playing this like a super tough.
Like, she plays what's her name, Niobe or whatever. Is that her name?
Yeah, Naomi.
Something like
that. Or Niobe.
Yeah, Niobe. Yeah. All right, Spilio, Frankencastle himself. What did you think? What's a performance you want to highlight from Collateral?
I'm gonna go like a different route. I really enjoyed Mark Ruffalo, the cop. I forget his name, but I was really shocked to see him there. I really was shocked to see how he looked in the movie, and I really liked his character because I remember a lot back in the '80s that movies they always have somebody on screen that goes, something isn't right here, okay? And that because everybody thought that Max was Vincent, remember? So I really enjoyed that Mark Ruffalo was one of those characters saying, you know what, there's more, that's what's going on here. And I didn't like the end of it for him, but I thought his character, he like brought you back in from the intense with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Yeah. Every time you go to him, it's always like, okay, it's like a little breather and everything. But then you're focused on this guy. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like his slick back hair and little mustache in this movie too.
That's what Brittany said the same thing. Brittany, she's in love with him, right? And I actually paused the movie to call her in to say, look who this. She goes, huh? He looks good there. So I was like, screw it.
Hell yeah. What about you, Verno? What's a performance you want to highlight?
First, let me say my favorite bit of Mark Ruffalo was the first 10 seconds where I thought he was going to be doing a Latino accent the whole movie. Because he's like undercover. I'm like, oh, fuck, this isn't going to age well. Then I realized, he's undercover. I wanted that accent. That would have been funny. I can't believe I'm third and that I get my pick of Jamie Foxx or Tom Cruise. I'll go Vincent, man. I thought it's interesting what you say, man. I do like the Lestat performance a little bit better, but I do get what you're saying. It's more hammed up. It's like something where he's not being nearly as subtle as he is in this. He's still like just as terrifying almost in this. But what I like about the character and the performance is not just how like intense he is or like how seriously you take him as a bad guy. He goes John Wick gun fu on you at one moment, but he's funny. Like he's got most of the funniest lines in the movie. Jamie Foxx is the comedian, but Vincent is kind of a hilarious guy. And the other thing is the way he's like being like a life coach for Max the whole time. He's giving him advice and trying to motivate him. But I wonder if you guys read it the same way, where like he's not doing that for Max. He's doing that for his own like ego. He wants to be the one like fucking with his boss and shit. He's not a good guy. There's nothing in him. He doesn't like actually feel for Max. Or do you guys read it differently? Like, do you think he does?
I think he's trying to drag him down. Dragging him to the dark side, trying to drag him down to hell.
No, I agree with you. Big time.
And Ruffalo's like the angel who's his chance at redemption. But so when he kills Ruffalo, it's like he's killing his last hope of getting out.
You know what I love about that moment? Sorry to jump in. Is the way that Tom Cruise, he acts like Jamie Foxx was just waiting for him to kill Ruffalo. He's like, okay, come on. Like, you're free. I got you. I freed you from Mark Ruffalo. Come with me. And Jamie Foxx is like, fuck. Back
No.
in it.
No, he's not a good guy because, like what I was going to say, when they went to the hospital to see Max's mom, you know, that he's the one that wanted to buy flowers. He is the one that actually was when she said these flowers you bought them. Oh, thank you so much. You know, they're beautiful. He then was already and then interested in her. You know, almost like maybe it was a competition right now with Max and him because of, if you remember, because of his mother died, you know, when giving birth. So, you know, when you think he is a good guy, like, oh man, he brought him, you know, her flowers, but it was all selfish.
Yeah.
Nothing for
Well,
Max. So I agree
I
with
wouldn't
you.
say that Vincent is a good person in any
Oh God,
way,
no.
shape, or form, but I do read it a little bit differently,
Hot
but
take.
more in line with what Brooks maybe was saying. But I think that Vincent did have a connection with Max. I also think Vincent's intention is to kill Max at the end of this night.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
But
I
these,
think, yeah.
and this is leaning a little bit into what I'm going to say later on about the thematics of the film. But Vincent is representing nihilism in its darkest and coldest form, right? But even at the same time where he justifies his own existence by saying it doesn't matter. 2 generations from now, nobody's going to remember who we were. So if I kill this dude, whatever, I'm making my life better now, right? But he is starved of connection. And he does find connection in these moments where he allows himself to be vulnerable enough to connect with someone like Max because he knows that he's about to kill him.
The one moment where he's like, God damn, I had to pick the cabbie. That's a Freudian. That was the moment where Max is kind of playing psychiatrist to him, where it did feel like he got to him a little bit. That was like a little bit of humanity. But I want to say, I'm going to write down that too. My theme section is going to be fire. So I appreciate both of you guys. All right. Nihilism. And okay, I got this.
All right. So my favorite character in the film, or I should say my favorite performance is Vincent. Tom Cruise's Vincent. I think it's amazing. But since nobody spotlighted Jamie Foxx yet, I think he's amazing in this film. And in the special features, Michael Mann says, you know, you got to learn how your actors come to a performance. He's like, Jamie Foxx bases all of his stuff on his understanding of a stand-up comedian. He was a stand-up comedian, so he knows how to mimic people very, very well. Right. And so he made him go and hang out with a bunch of cabbies in LA. Right. And learn that ground and learn that city and learn that language and learn what it's like to drive. He put him on a driving course where he had to take the Lincoln Continental out there and like learn how to like take sharp turns. And because he's like, if you've been a cabbie in LA for 12 years, you know how to drive. Right. So Michael Mann gets his people into those characters, and he really pulled out a lot from Jamie Foxx. Right. And Verno, I think you said it. This is kind of like the start of that Jamie Foxx renaissance, where he wasn't just the crazy person in the later years of In Living Color or Martin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he was actually a legitimate actor. And then this and Ray was like a nice 1-2 punch that just sent him over. And we're still waiting, Todd, for his Spawn movie. Come on. You better do it now or it ain't going to happen. But my favorite character in the movie is actually Los Angeles. That city is so much a character in this movie. And the way it's shown and portrayed, we'll get to right now with the style and structure part of the program. Style and structure. Style-wise, it's fucking gorgeous. All right. So it's shot on film, most of it, but there's still a big section of it that's filmed with digital HD video in 2004. This was new technology. And yes, some people went this route because it was cheaper, 28 days later, for instance, right?
Yeah.
However, in this one, Michael Mann shot those films, or most of this film, on digital HD because he knew that was the only way to get the look he wanted, right? He's working with cinematographer, who is it? Dion Bebe and Paul Cameron. But he intentionally wanted it to look like what LA looks like if you're out there on the streets in the middle of the fucking night, right? The sodium glow of the street lights, the weird, eerie, blue, ethereal glow, the random oranges, seeing the cityscape in the background and in most shots where they're just at a hotel when the body falls down, for instance, on the cab for the first time, that beautifully framed shot. And Michael Mann, just having filmed for so long in LA, knew these spots. He said he kept them in his head for a project that was going to be very much about the LA that he knew, right? And Jamie Foxx in the back in the special features keeps saying, like, I told him I was from the ghetto, and Michael Mann goes, "You're not from the ghetto." He was like, "What the fuck's he talking about?" And then he took me to some places where I'm telling him to lock the fucking doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows LA. He's utilizing that. You get that sense. It is something that back in my early 20s, late teens, when I wanted to make movies in my hometown, it was something I always wanted to strive for, was framing my shots where you could see the knowable cityscape in the background. But we're in like a very mundane part of that to show like the dichotomy of LA, right? Like the fantasy versus the reality. I think that comes across in the style of this film, the way it's shot. You can see that ethereal glow. Like at times, Tom Cruise with his gray hair, which seemed at the time like such an odd choice, but it makes him glow like a fucking ghost. Like he's not even a real person. He's already dead. He's soulless almost, right? Like he's just a ghost. And he has this like eerie blue ethereal glow throughout the movie amongst all the precision that he learned. I think it's fucking beautiful. I think it's amazing. The structure, it's a 2-hour film. To me, that is so tight and moves so fast. It never slows down. And I'm riveted every single time with just the work that's being done with the characters. It's the interaction between Vincent and Max that really strive this movie forward. And they're learning to not necessarily understand, but they're learning about the other person. That's how we as the audience learn about it. But we're also seeing deeper levels with them kind of like questioning each other and challenging each other. I think the movie's fucking brilliant, style and structure wise. What about you, Brooks? What do you think style and structure of this movie?
I like the style of this movie. It's very good for like a kind of crime fiction movie, like because it's like Los Angeles to me in this movie. It feels kind of like it's bright, but it's also kind of grimy. So like it's kind of like it's kind of like there's two sides of the city. Even Tom Cruise or Vincent asks him at one point like if he likes this. He's like, "Yeah, I love this city. Of course, I live here." And like I love the way it's paced too. Like it's very it stays very much focused on the two mains for most of the movie, and like with most of the other characters just being kind of like cannon fodder for Vincent for the most part. But yeah, it's like a buddy criminal movie, and like it bounces in tone a lot, like to like being like kind of hilarious to being like weird and dark. So yeah, it's just like it's a really fun watch, I have to say.
Hell yeah. Spilio, my brother, what did you think about the style and structure of this film?
I freaking enjoyed it. Oh my god! You took the words out of my mouth. This movie was raw, just down and dirty, and just I mean, just even in the beginning, with the cab, he's cleaning it. He's got to clean it, and just those little moments, I freaking really, really enjoyed. And it did seem like almost every scene had a sunset, or had to blow up. But the one scene that got me, that I don't know why, it's when they're driving, right? And then I think it's the scene where you said you see the sunlight behind Tom Cruise's head, and they stop, and then all of a sudden these three coyotes just cross the street. And you're like, and the music is so intense. We'll talk later about the music, but at that moment you're like, what's going on here? Was this a break in the moment that needed you, that both guys are going through it? So I really enjoyed that. The ending, the only thing, and this might be me, is, do you know, whenever you have a chase scene, okay, somebody's following somebody, okay, the guy is so far in the back, but he doesn't see the guy make a right hand turn, right? So he gets to the middle and he doesn't know where, oh, is it left or is it right? I don't know. And They always go where they went. That was the only thing that got me like at the end. But other than that, I love the style. I love seeing the cops, at home, and nobody was like, your typical '80s like sergeant yelling. Everybody was down and deep, and even I love that club scene. That club scene, I remember being in that like, and on the floor when there's no room and everything like that, and the music and everything. I enjoyed it. This was a great, great movie.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Great thoughts, John. Thank you for sharing. And what about you, Verno? What do you think about the style and structure of the film? And take at least a minute and a half.
Okay, no problem. Spilly, I was gonna say that moment, I get what you're saying, because he comes down, it's a 50-50, where I guess it's fucking infinite possibilities. He could have went anyway. I kind of read that as Vincent's respect for Max, his intelligence. He's like, okay, what would I do? He's like, okay, I do this. It's almost like, okay, rock, paper, scissors. Well, he's thinking this, so I'm going to think this. And he's like, this is what I would do. So that's probably what he did. So, but I get what you're saying. It is a weird moment.
Yeah. No, but that is true too. Maybe they did fix it. Remember when Jaime and Jade, they got on the subway and he ran and he was like, okay, which one it was? So maybe that's where you're saying like he's thinking of like, all right, he could be in that one or he could be in that one.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you might be correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking guessing. But as far as this, like the style that sticks out to me, you guys have already pointed out, like the way that they use LA. This is also kind of like touching on the themes, the way they use the landscape shots of LA, just to show like it looks empty. It feels lonely the way they shoot the city, which kind of feeds into the themes of the whole thing. What did I want to say about the structure? Oh, here's the biggest part for me. I think this is where, and maybe if I rewatched it, I would feel differently. I feel like all you guys enjoyed the Ruffalo and the procedural section more than I did, because that's like where I walk away from the movie, I like got fucking nothing out of that. Like that's me. Like I don't think they used. There's like nothing entertaining in any of the bits with Ruffalo. There's like not like any fucking character development for him or anything there that gives me anything. So I think that's my biggest ding on the structure of the movie. I just want to get back to Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx the whole time. But I mean, I don't know. I'm really curious to watch it again. None of you guys feel the same, so I'm kind of interested in that.
Yeah, I do think structurally the usage of Mark Ruffalo was there in a Hitchcockian Psycho kind of way. Right? Like just kind of be a big mislead where you think, because in a typical movie from Hollywood, he gets shot at the end of Act 2 and he's alive magically at the end of Act 3. He's like Dewey.
Right.
Hey, right. Right. Until Scream 5, when they Han Soloed him. But but like, I think it's just there to like be like a fake out, because I think Michael Mann is kind of playing with the expectations of the audience in a film like this is what I think is happening, but I'm also very forgiving. Let's talk about the music. I'm confused right now because Wikipedia says the music is done by James Newton Howard, who we will know as being the Academy Award nominated composer of films such as The Fugitive, Michael Clayton, The Village, Defiance, ER, the TV show. He did the theme. He did work with Hans Zimmer on The Dark Knight, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and Dinosaur for Disney. So King Kong for the Peter Jackson one. But when I was listening to the score, Antonio Pinto is the one that's like I'm seeing as the composer. So I don't know who it was. I'm sure it was this Antonio dude, right? Maybe there was something else. I don't know how it was divvied up or whatever, but the music in this film is haunting, cold, ethereal, and then the soundtrack choices. I think Delight said it in the chat. I have to wholeheartedly agree with this. The whole reason why we started talking about Michael Mann so much during Crew's Choice this year was because during Risky Business, it had a Tangerine Dream score, and it felt like it should be a Michael Mann film, with just like the way it was like using that music, right? And you think about the way he uses music in films like Tangerine Dream and Heat, or Miami Vice. He uses a lot of Moby, which is another thing. Like Michael Mann is the filmmaker I wanted to be, but I wanted to make like teenage horror films and sex comedies. Is what I wanted to do, right? But with a little bit more of a substance to it, stylistically or whatnot. Maybe, you know what? It's not too late, y'all. Right? It's not too late. A Mortex the movie coming soon, directed by Michael Mann. So the music, though, absolutely fantastic. Like I said, haunting, ethereal. It really helps accentuate the notion of LA as a character in this movie to me. And when he's using the other music, like music from the Roots or other like techno-y 2004 kind of scenes, like in the club scene, fucking works. And he knows how to cut that shit to it in a way that's exciting and riveting and compelling that doesn't feel like it's a music video. Right? Because we all know that. Like, there's sometimes we're like, oh, I love the use of that song in that movie, but it was like a music video montage. That's not what he's using music for here. Nobody does music better than Michael Mann in film, except for Dario Argento, in my opinion. And this is another perfect example of why. Brooks, what did you think about the music in Collateral?
I really like the soundtrack. Like it was bouncing, not in like a way like, you know, upbeat way, but how when the movie's like tone shifts, it bounced with them, I think, you know. And it like I really like that about this soundtrack, that, you know, it shifts and, like, you know, moves with the movie so well. Like, it felt like really natural, but yet I still, like, you know, noticed it. You know, it didn't just completely merge into the background of the movie.
Dude, think about this one scene.
Integral part of it, really.
Dude, there's this one scene that's very, very much a very key scene in the movie that if you're not really paying attention, you don't even notice, and you don't even really think about its significance. But the scene when they stop at that stoplight, that coyote walks across the fucking intersection, and they're just showing the way that Vincent and Max are reacting to it. This odd moment of nature in LA, right? And Michael Mann even says that was intentional because one day he was in LA, he stopped at an intersection, and 3 coyotes walked across, and he was amazed at how this was their environment at 3:00 in the fucking morning in LA, right? I know this feeling from the first time I was way too coked out one night and saw a raccoon come out of the fucking sewer and just go off into the fucking bushes, and I was like, oh, this is another world I'm in right now, man. It was like cracking me out, you know what I'm saying? But like, that scene is showing so much. It's showing so much in the nuance of Tom Cruise's performance in particular, and the music accentuates that like a motherfucker. It's atmospheric, right? I know it's a word like whenever we talk about music in a movie, if you don't know what to say, you can just say atmospheric. Totally. But like, it really fits here, like 100%. What about you, Spilio? What'd you think about the music, John?
It's fucking awesome. I enjoy it big time, because it was funny that you said, I'm watching this, and look, I had no background with Michael Mann. I didn't know what he did before except for Heat, but anyway, I'm listening to the music, right? And a couple scenes, I'm listening to music, and I said, you know what? This sounds like a lot like Miami Vice, you know? And then to hear that he did that, I can sense it. I can, the scene by scene with the different music, with the choices that they use. But for me, the plus of the music was at the last 20 minutes of the movie. You know, when Jaime is running with the stupid phone, you know, people charge your phone. So, you know, and that the music kept on getting more intense, and then it got real big, and then it went back again. And then it got real big, you know, at the end. I really enjoyed the music. I heard about how Michael Mann is with music. You know, well, I hear he's very intense to work with. Anyway, you know, actors in a good way, But I could see the love of music in this movie from him. Yeah,
absolutely. Verno, why don't you let us know what you thought about the music?
I thought it was great. Just like kind of what Spilio was pointing out, like the variety of music. Like just within the first 5 minutes, you're getting R&B, you get some hip hop, you get some Latin music, you get rock, you get everything, and that's like right off the bat. And I don't know if you get, like, I'm always sitting reclined when I'm watching movies. Usually, like, these are my feet, And like if a needle drop hits and it works, my feet just start doing that. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys do that, but I'm doing that like the whole
Oh,
fucking movie. It keeps switching it up, and it has these moments where it felt like to me like the evolution of the Lethal Weapon, that kind of like jazzy guitar stuff, but it was like cooler and tastier, and it had like this like organic kind of nature vibe behind it too, and then just a shitload of drums. You know what I mean? Like a lot of percussion, fucking, if I can use one of Robbie's phrase, driving music. Am I saying that right? Something like
yes.
that.
Yes.
It's driving us forward. I felt that, but I really did. It's one of those that it's not always the easiest to like notice the music, but Michael Mann, like he's clearly it's an important part of the film to him, and
You're
you
right.
super feel, and it's so different than the only other soundtrack that I can think of his, the Manhunter, like night and day. Couldn't be any more different, but cool.
Yeah. I'm very excited. We're doing Thief, one of his first films for PCP Movie Night in early 2025. And it's got a Tangerine Dream score, and I've never seen it. And it's got James Caan in it, so I'm very excited for that. Driving is the right thing to say too, because you got those drums you're talking about, like tribal sounding, like that kind of shit, right? Which this is not an action film. I wouldn't classify this as an action film. I would say this is a drama, but it feels like an action film. It really does. It's got like one car like fucking crash.
It is weird. It's like a thriller too. Definitely, it's got like it's a suspense thriller that makes you think it's an action scene. The club scene feels like an action scene.
It does. It's like John Wick owes a lot to Michael Mann's Collateral in that scene. I think, like just the way he moves, even right. Like John Wick kind of does that same kind of thing, right? The efficiency of somebody in this line of work.
In the alley, with the guys that steal his bag.
Yo, you got my briefcase, man?
Yeah.
Yo, homie.
Yo, homie.
Yo, homie.
Yeah. This is the weirdest. He practiced that line more than his usual lines. Like, how do I say homie? He hung out with some homies for a week to get that down.
Michael Mann made him hang out with some homies. Fuck yeah, dude. The music's so great though, but you were talking about the cultural differences in some of the music in the beginning. That, like I said, it's the character of LA, right? And you got that driving percussive thing, but you also got that ethereal atmospheric, like I mean, like Miami Vice is can you think of a TV show that used music better than Miami Vice? I mean, come on, y'all. I can't. John, me and you got to start doing a weekly show, just revisiting Miami Vice from episode 1 all the way fucking through.
All the way to the movie. That would be awesome.
Hell yeah, that would. All right, time to talk about the thematics of the film. What's the movie saying? What's the point of this film? What message? If you dig a little bit deeper, what do you think, Brooks? What's this movie saying to you?
Well, I think there's something this movie kind of touches on. It's like it's kind of a theme, but it's more in the background. It's like this idea of like, a person like Vincent, like where does he come from? And it's like, this idea of like, all of these like soldiers, these special forces guys, these guys that are like, trained spies and stuff, like what do they do when there's no more, and like this, it's the idea that like their safety net or their job security is they just find criminals to work for. So like, there's this whole like, there's a whole other realm of people living like alongside normal people, except like, they just, instead of like punching in and like flipping burgers, they go out and just kill people for a few hours, It's instead of getting like, a list of tasks, but then you do like, mop the floor and like clean the grill is like, I need you to kill this guy, and I need you to kill this guy, and I need you to kill this girl, It's just idea that, that there's an industry in murder that's just kind of like made by these like these organized crime like guys,
Yeah, absolutely. Well put. What about you, Spillia? What's this movie speaking to you?
3 things, I think. One is chance. We don't control chance. Stuff that happens. It could have no meaning in the beginning, but have a huge meaning at the end. Chance and decisions and all stuff too. Like, like Max, you saw it from the beginning to end. He was a totally different person. Okay. But is he changed because of the situation, or
Oh, because chance, I think he was going to say.
Because of chance.
I'm saying chance. I'm with Spillio.
Oh shit. He just got dynamited, is what we call it here.
Hope Vincent didn't pay him a visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. As we wait for John to come back, Verno, why don't you kind of take the reins there?
I mean, there's definitely the Max's thing is he's not chasing his dreams. He's sitting around. He's waiting. This resonated with me because he's waiting for his limousine service, his idea to be perfect, instead of just starting it when he's imperfect and going from there, which is what you have to do with life in general. Like, oh, fuck it, I'll call them all. They don't watch. I've got a friend that they're wanting to get married. They're wanting to have kids, but they're waiting for they want to buy a house. They're trying to set their fucking life up. I was like, bro, you're 41. If you want to get married, you want to have the kids, do it now. Quit waiting until everything's perfect. It's the same thing with a podcast or a YouTube channel. Like if I didn't start a podcast until I was a fucking amazing podcaster,
right?
Then I would have never started. So you got to start it before you can get there. And then the whole nihilism thing. And it's like,
you stepping on my shit right now, bro.
No.
You're about to cross some fucking lines, bro.
It's obvious. I don't know. I don't think it's that well hidden. They talk about it quite a bit in the movie. The idea of it not like, oh, there's 7 billion people on the planet, so it doesn't matter. And like, I'll weird people out all the time. I'm like, yeah, but how many are there in the galaxy or in this section of the cosmos? We are gods. We're fucking gods. We are the most interesting. Oh, by Spelio, I really wanted you to hear this. We are the most interesting thing happening for like probably trillions of miles. Like to have conscious thought and to be alive, we're the most like rare thing on the ever. You know what I mean? Like who knows how rare we are. So I always think about that. The idea of like, oh, nobody cares about me. It's like, who gives a shit? You are a god. You know what I mean? Quit your bitching and enjoy
I am a golden god.
Yeah, that's literally how I feel. Like we're all fucking. It's incredible, rare chance. Speaking of chance, that's amazing that we're fucking here. So
yeah, and you're right because a big point is Jamie Foxx's situation. He's got this dream. He's working on it. He's talking to his mom about it. He's talking to everybody he meets about it. Like you can tell that he's got this rehearsed spill about it, right? Because like he says it to Jada Pinkett at the beginning of the film, and then when Tom Cruise starts asking about it, he goes right back into it. He has the same inflection, he has the same attitude, and it's a lie that he tells himself. It's a lie that a lot of us tell ourselves. Oh, we're working at this. How long you been doing that? How long, Robbie, have you been trying to get into shape? 15 years, brother. Sometimes you're just dreaming and not doing, right? And that's an interesting dichotomy between the two characters of Max and Vincent, because Vincent is doing what his dream is, allegedly. But maybe he questions that too. Spillio, sorry you dripped out.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened.
What else you got?
You know,
man?
I was gone and came back and say that we're all gods. So I don't know what the hell happened while I was gone. Oh, long story short, I was just thinking, was just saying about chances. I think you guys hit on it. You know, in the beginning of the movie, Max doesn't hear Vincent first. You know, he's so, enamored with Jada Pinkett that he walked away. And then all of a sudden he goes, hey, oh, no, I hear. That's a chance. That changed that second of their lives, changed forever. And I think people got to think about those kind of moments. What if I didn't become a fan of Bueller, right? I would never met Robbie, and I would have never met all the friends and Brooks and Verno now. And like you said, we're here. Think about the chances of us getting here, the impossibilities of us not being here. So I thought that movie that hit me real hard, and especially at the end where Max had choices. He could have went to the guys, that was what was that, Felix? He could have just blown it, but he decided to change it. So that's what I like. Just because that one little slightly chance changed Max's life forever, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but Vincent too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, by the way, now that you mentioned Felix, did anybody else go fucking Javier Bardem's in this movie?
Yes.
Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Oh, okay. I have to say something real quick. I don't know the guy's name, but he was the FBI, the guy in charge of
The
the
heavyset
FBI.
guy.
Yes, you see him all the time, right? I thought he was going to be a bad guy because he always is a bad guy. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if you guys.
That's Michael Mann fucking with you, John.
Yes.
Well, I thought everybody that we see in the movie was going to play a bigger role, and I'm sitting there like, oh, it's 2004. Was Jason Statham, whatever the fuck his name, was he famous? Was the girl that's bitching on the phone at the beginning? I know her. Okay, she's going to come back. Like, there's a lot of people in the movie. The Ruffalo's guy that's with him, I know that fucking face, but nobody came back or was important at all to me.
Yeah, that's true. But it makes it feel novelistic to me a little bit, right? Like a little bit like a Elmore Leonard or something like that. I don't know. Could have been developed a little bit further, but this movie's only 2 hours long, but he could have done a 3-hour version of it. I think would have been just as compelling. I think, honestly, fleshing out some of those other roles. For me, I dig what everybody's saying. Dude, chance is a big part of this, John. 100%. Michael Mann said he loved the idea of the script. What he loved about it was these two individuals meet each other by chance, and over the course of a compressed timeline in just 6-7 hours, both their lives come unraveled and change, right? And he was very compelled by that. It is very much about Jamie Foxx's situation and the dichotomy and the juxtaposition of that with Vincent, right? Where Max is dreaming but not doing. And Vincent is doing, but stopped dreaming. And they learn from each other by the end of this film, even though it's too late for Vincent. Let's hope it's not too late for Max, right? So there's that. There's also the idea of Vincent. Like, what does it mean to be that cold, to be a killer, to be that? And we have government sanctioned killers. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he was a hitman, but what's the difference if he works for the CIA? It's the exact same person, the exact same profile and character study, right? So going back to the nihilism thing, nihilism is the idea that nothing matters. We are insignificant. We're not actually gods, Verno. We're just random fucking chance. This movie's playing with chance, right? So cosmologically speaking, what are the odds that Max and Vincent would be in that car that night together, right? Pretty small, probably in all of reality, but it's the chance that leads to significance, right? So let's talk about this. Nihilism is a fine philosophy as long as I think you apply it in the right way. Nihilism can be a free way of thinking about things. When you take away all the ideas that things are anything other than chance, then you are free to apply significance to whatever event you want to, right? There's not some grand purpose. I didn't just meet this random person at this time because we're destined to be together forever. I now have the ability to choose the significance of that event to me and what I need and this and that, right? Now you're taking that too far in Vincent's situation, right? Where he is using this philosophy of nihilism to justify to him what is an easy existence. He doesn't feel connection, but he craves that connection. So the movie is not just about nihilism, but it's about connection. You can be nihilistic and still crave connection. And that's a danger or a warning in this movie to me. And this is something we're seeing more and more as the decades progress. More people in the world, more connection, but it's a false connection. And you're just seeing how shit everything can be sometimes. And all you're focusing in is on the negative. And if you do that, then you're like, what's the fucking point of anything? Well, the whole point of nihilism is the point is what you fucking make it. Right? So Max needs to apply significance to this night of chance. And maybe not just meeting Vincent, but meeting Jada Pinkett Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like something to like,
Sure.
he had a situation, the universe through chance, threw him in a situation that finally woke his ass up. And I hope he started that limo company, you know, with the experience or whatever. But I guess to encapsulate that all together, because I'm kind of just kind of like spreading everything around. There is no
Jackson Pollock.
super cosmic purpose to each individual's lives. Verno's right. We are the gods. There's not one determining fate that's like really focused on every single living being. Significance in life is our decision. And you need to make life significant and understand that the most significant thing in our human lives and existence is connection. Because Vincent was craving it and had it that night, even though he knew he was going to bust a cap up in Max's ass. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole MO. It's one of the reasons why we got the whole police story is to get little tidbits of exposition like that. Oh, they found this cabbie. I just don't buy that story. This cabbie ran around, killed all these people, and then killed himself. They're letting us know already this is how this movie's going to end unless something changes.
I like the idea of that being a thing, and just it's a plausible premise. It's so cool. Like if that's like Vincent's done this before, he comes to LA from time to time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm because at the very beginning he's like, I detest this fucking city. Every time I get here, I want to fucking leave. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I bet.
You talk about like think about LA is a character in this film. What does LA represent? Right? Like LA represents to a lot of Americans a fake, phony reality, right? This like dream
like
that's
fake
unattainable.
Too. Like people interact with each other, but they don't know each other.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the things Michael Mann was saying in the special features. I hate to be that fucking guy. In the special features, Michael Mann was saying that LA is not like New York. It's not like Detroit. It's not like Atlanta. It's not like Chicago. It is spread the fuck out and very big and disparate, right? Like there's just like so many sections of it that are their own communities and they're all represented in the film. I don't know LA. I don't know it geographically or intimately or in my heart or anything like that. But they're apparently, if you know LA, you understand in this movie, oh, they're here. Oh, they're there. They're all over. And it's this connecting of these disparate like elements, right? Like it is fate. It's chance. It's all this shit, but it's not the chance that applies the significance. It's you. Does that make sense? I'm rambling, whatever.
Oh yeah,
totally. Let me say, this is what I'm thinking while you're saying this. Like, I've never heard anybody talk about nihilism as like, it's a healthy philosophy, just because I've just never heard anybody say that. I don't think most people, I'll include myself in this, are intelligent enough to use that philosophy properly. Most people need some kind of moral framework from religion or fucking somewhere. It can't just, most people will take it like, oh, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Or you, I think most of us got our fucking morals from Family Ties and 80s television and all that. Like we needed some kind of moral framework or from our stories or movies or pop culture or whatever. There's, you know what I mean? Nobody can be left to their own. I don't think most people could handle nihilism.
But the thing is, though, there is no moral code embedded into the cosmos.
There is a moral code embedded into our DNA, I fully believe, because we evolved to work as a group. So I always think that if alien species ever comes to Earth, that species at one point in their fucking evolution, they had to work together. So they had to have love. If you're ever going to make it out, you had to have family and love and cooperation to fucking achieve leaving your planet. You know what I mean? So it's like it is part of anything that's going to be a significance in the cosmos.
Yeah, but then you like add in something like an element that would be extrapolated out of that would be, say, like nationalism or extreme patriotism, right? So what's the difference now? Like now we're talking about the idea that the boundary of a country justifies your country's need to kill people in another country, which is exactly what Vincent is doing. Right? We're still applying our own significance. It's our personal moral code, and it's dependent on a lot of different factors. But the beauty of nihilistic thinking, and people use nihilism and stoicism in the wrong ways all the time to justify things like suffering and just fucking hatred.
There's nothing worse than an idiot nihilist.
Exactly. But like nihilism is this, like if I strip away the idea that the universe has any kind of moral code or meaning, that means that I now get to decide what that is. Right? It's not up to
you to do it. I trust you to do it, Robbie. I don't know if I trust myself. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
What a really cool fucking discussion, though. That was really fucking. That was actually what I've always wanted PCP to be. Now it's time to rate the film. You out there in the chat, out of 5, you digs, what do you give Collateral, our conclusion to Crew's Choice this year? And Brooks, why don't you kick us off, man? Out of 5, you digs, what do you give Collateral?
Before he does that, let me ask you real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt.
God damn it, John. Really? This is my show. Are you fucking serious?
God. I am. I'm sorry. No, I wanted to know. I didn't know when to throw this in. Did anybody notice, when Vincent killed the trumpet player? Okay. Like, after he shot him, which was like, holy shit.
By the way, that's another great, excuse me if I interrupt you, John, but that's another great scene that shows Vincent's need for connection and his understanding of something that's significant to him, because he's into jazz.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so after he laid his head down and that, and he put his arm there and that Max was leaving, and then you saw in Vincent's face, like, he was like, he felt bad for like 2 seconds, and then if you saw his face, he went like that, and he was like, "All right, we're back to Vincent." I didn't know if you guys noticed that or not.
That's cool. You know what I like is the juxtaposition of, for Jamie Foxx, it was so hard to sit down and get to know the guy for a little bit before he killed him. But then Tom Cruise volunteered to go meet Jamie Foxx's mom, and then it's like, I will fucking go back and kill her with no problem. So that was a cool juxtaposition.
It's a scary fucking character, honestly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
One of my favorite parts was when he sent Max to basically explain his fuck up. Like, so he sent him to like talk to his boss. He's like, "You fucked it up, so you're gonna take the shit."
Dude, that's one of Jamie Foxx's
he easily could have been killed.
Right.
He's like, "You tell that motherfucker to put his gun up, before I fucking like kick his bitch ass," or something like that.
I like with the trumpet guy, a similar line where he's like, Miles Davis said, "You take your jive ass out of here and your silly bitch with you." I was like, oh, fuck. I didn't know Miles was like
But he's incorporating it, right? And that's another, like Michael Mann said in the special features on the Blu-ray.
I'm getting offended because I say this every episode.
Well, but he said he's like
special features.
He goes, he's pulling something he already is aware of. He's been a cab driver in LA for 12 years. He's got spatial awareness. He knows how to like read a room.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. He's seen so many different types of people.
Yeah. But
Max is like a pathfinder. He knows all the swiftest paths.
That's true. Yeah. I am tired though of this trope in movies, and you guys, the three of us that have glasses, you will know. When he's sitting at a table in front of Felix and he says that line, he turns around and he takes his glasses off. You know what would happen to me? I would be like, who the fuck am I talking to? I can't see you. Wait a minute. Oh, there we are. Are you guys tired of that? Every time a person has to get serious, I'd be like, what the hell?
See what happens in my case.
The glare from the glasses like hides the intensity of your gaze.
That's true.
Trying to, like, give somebody
Jamie Foxx is different than me, though. I take off my glasses and everybody goes, "Dude, your eyes are way too close together." What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, one of the best is Sam Neill in Jurassic Park taking off his glasses to see the dinosaurs more clearly. That's not how it works, but it sells the idea for whatever reason.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's like, oh my, where the fuck you go?
Ever since Peter fucking Parker, man. All right.
All right,
Brooks, let's rate the film. Starting with out of 5, you digs. Let's start with you, Brooks. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'd have to give this one a 5. Like it is, like I think like just 'cause it's so well paced, such a good soundtrack. Like I love the characters, and like it was a really enjoyable movie, and like really caught me by surprise how much I like this movie. So yeah, I'll give it a perfect score.
Fuck
Damn.
yeah, dude. That's rad as shit. What about you, Verno? What you sitting on?
I love it. I'm gonna give it a 4, and I think I'm the opposite because I wasn't surprised by how much I liked it. I went in fucking ready to be just blown the fuck away, and I was maybe just judge it a little bit too critically, or I don't know. There was, like I said, I wasn't entertained by certain chunks of the movie that kind of did take me out of it. I felt like it felt a little long for 2 hours, but still, fucking really good. Probably one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances, still behind Lestat, but one of the tops.
All right. What about you, Spilio? What you sitting on?
I'm in the Brooks camp because it was our first time. Didn't know anything about Michael Mann. You heard about him, but not the movies. So I'm giving it a 5 because I went in blind, and I went in at the end of the movie seeing the love for this guy because, like I said, every step of the movie, and I'm a little, opposite of Verno, is that I thought the movie went by really quick. So, I was like, holy shit, 2 hours when I started it, and then it was over. I was like, what the hell?
Can I just say I watched this with my wife and we were fucking pausing it every like 25 minutes. I gotta pee. Let's make some food. I was participating in the pace.
Yeah,
of this
that's
movie.
a different
I
thing.
think
Verno.
it is.
That is different. And I was so intense, and maybe it is different from seeing it the first time instead of not seeing it, because we all have these rose-colored glasses of movies that we've seen before back in the 80s, and then you watch them again, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on here. This is different, this and that. But anyway, what I'm saying is 5 for me.
Hell yeah. I will agree with Brooks and Spilio, and I'll give this movie a 5, you digs. I think this movie is so fucking top notch. I think it's anchored by amazing performances. It's got style out of the ass and experimental and innovative style as well. We're talking about 2004 and really being able to use film and HD DV in a glorious way that never feels like it's inconsistent or jarring or anything like that, right? The structure to me is so tight. I love it. Great characters in this movie. The intricacies of how everything just goes in and back and forth. All the acts are clearly defined and just pop and work, and it's just so amazing. The music is brilliant, and the usage of that music is even more brilliant, atmospheric, and driving, if I may borrow from Verno.
Yeah.
And the themes are there too. There's a lot to talk about in this film. There's a lot of meaning to pull out of it and a lot of discussion, as we had here on the channel. Dwayne's a Pain, I see you with the 4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. We rarely get super chats here on PCP Movie Night.
Dwayne.
They really help us out. So thank you
Two
so
Gun.
much. It's very encouraging, actually. So Two Gun Pedro 4.5. Delight gives it a 5. Delight's been waiting for this one. So I'm very excited. But 5 from me, Brooks, and Spilio, and a 4 from Verno for a PCP average of 4.769, dudes. It's funny how that math always works out in our favor. Thus concludes Cruise Choice, y'all. It's done.
Man.
8 weeks of Tom Cruise movies. We talked about 8 Tom Cruise movies. Me 9, because I watched Top Gun as well. I'm done watching Tom Cruise movies for a while. I'll tell you that one. I really am. But
I'm signing up for Scientology. I don't know.
I already did.
Get very excited, though, because next week we kick off Action Fest here on PCP Movie Night. 5 weeks of great action films, and I think this is the best lineup we have ever had for Action Fest. No duds like Golden Child or Missing in Action. If there's a chance of a dud in this lineup, it might be Last Action Hero, but I don't think it's going to disappoint.
Come
on.
But we're kicking it all off next week, July 1st, Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, with the Die Hard franchise. All 5 Die Hard movies. The real dud's going to be Die Hard 5, let's be honest. All right, so Die Hard franchise, next week as we kick off Action Fest. Brooks, thank you so much for being a part of this show, being a part of my life. I love you, brother. Why don't you tell us what you got coming up?
Well, Mayor Delaney, he's not here tonight, but normally is. But so he's leaving me with the responsibility and duty to tell everybody about Go Figure Reviews, which is a thing we do together. And I'm not sure what videos he's been putting out this week, but I do know, yeah, that one, the figure arts Chun-Li, who I have right here, actually. She's like right by my side this whole time.
You've been rubbing your dick on her? What the fuck you been doing with that?
I've just been posing her. Just having fun. But yeah, we also did the shoot. I cannot remember what else we did the rant video where we talk about the toy industry and we bitch about it for a while. And
he sent me this one. Did you do something about this?
Not yet. No. I want this set.
Yeah, like I'm actually looking forward to those now.
Yeah, Dr. Voodoo.
Especially I haven't seen that Blackheart put together. It looks pretty nice.
It's Brother Voodoo, brother.
Brother, that's what I said.
You said doctor, but
I didn't say.
Everybody go check out Go Figure Reviews. Verno, love you so much, man. We had a great conversation recently on your channel about Suspiria and a great conversation about Godzilla -1. You've been doing your summer abroad. You got the ritual, I think, this week.
Yeah, baby.
So why don't you tell us about your channel and what's coming up?
You named it, man. We're doing summer abroad. I think we've just crossed the halfway mark where we've been doing, it's up to 9 foreign horror movies over 6 weeks. And most of the movies I haven't seen, and so many of them have been just like Jay Burns is saying about Action Fest, banger after banger. But since I've had this running through my mind, like most of America and probably the world has had, this stupid joke, I've been wanting to say that, Brooks, you look like your screen is needs some cleaning up. I'd give it the old hack to and just fucking clean that bad boy up just a little bit.
I just thought you had some Vaseline on the lens. I thought you had that RuPaul Drag Race season 1 look. You
got to spit on that thing. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the ritual, Blood Splatter Chatter, Thursday at 8. It's gonna be a good time.
Hell yeah. Spilio, I love you. It's always good to hang out with you. Can't wait to see you again on a stream. You should be on more of these, John.
Well, call me.
Motherfucker, I call you, you're busy. You're like, I got inventory tonight. I can't talk to you.
Macaulay Ray Jepsen here. Call me maybe.
Oh, no, I love you.
No, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah,
Final thoughts.
No. Whenever you want me, I'm there. Just let me know. And Verno, too, I would love to try. Oh, wait, that way.
Yeah, it's tricky sometimes.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, call me,
Hell yeah.
I would love to do whatever. I'm actually enjoying it now after done a couple. I've gotten more comfortable. I've gotten a little bit more, trying not to sound stupid, but that happens every time. But anyway,
no.
But I love you, brother, big time. I do. You're like my brother, really. So thank you.
Well, thank you, brother. All right. So next week, Action Fest starts with the Die Hard franchise. I guess I'm excited. I mean, I am excited. I like Die Hard 1, 3, and 4. I only like 4 because Timothy Olyphant's in it, and I think he's super fucking dreamy. But I don't think it's a good movie.
Which one's with a vengeance? Is that 3 or 4?
That's 3 with Samuel L. Jackson. That's a great one.
Fucking the shit.
Jeremy Irons is the villain, dude. Here's the thing, though. I fucking hate Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like it, and I fucking... No. I hope I enjoy it. I would love if next week I'm like, Die Hard 2 really surprised me.
No, I don't think so.
But we'll see what happens. So watch all 5 Die Hard movies by next week for PCP Movie Night Action Fest. And the best part of Action Fest is after it's over and a brief 2-week break, it's time for Horror Fest, baby. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so fucking ready. But Action Fest is great. We got Die Hard franchise, RoboCop, Last Action Hero, Blade, and the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, come on. No Chuck Norris bullshit movies in the midst of that this year. So we've learned our lessons. All right, but we're dipping out, everybody. Thank you so much. And my final thought will be, I don't know it. I don't remember any line from this movie.
You job.
Why is this movie called Collateral? Like honestly, there's like there's nothing held for Collateral.
I was listening to like, what is the point?
Jamie Foxx, he
title?
calls himself Collateral at one point. Like he is the Collateral.
Does he? Is there? Did I forget that cheesy ass moment though when he goes, "I'm like Collateral."
He's like, I'm just collateral to you, real quick, and I'm like, okay, bro. Yeah, I don't like the name either.
Fuck, that's pretty shit. It should be called like a night in L. I don't know. I honestly don't fucking know. All right, see you guys.